Good evening, and welcome once again to the Food Gallery. Over the years, we've managed to shut down many of the exhibits here in the Vegetal Hall of Horrors. Spinach, peas, beets, dark leafy greens don't live here anymore. But there is one inmate who seems determined to remain on permanent display. Brassica oleacea, broccoli. Falsely accused of being bitter, limp, bland, and boring, this flowering body has garnered the ire of presidents and pubescents alike. You see, broccoli entered this country rather late in the immigration game, at a time when the country's collective heart was hardening against newcomers. This hateful sentiment was best voiced in an insightful cartoon from a 1928 edition of The New Yorker, depicting a domestic scene in which broccoli was making a hopeful debut.
Try it, dear. It's called broccoli.
I said spinach, and I said with it.
Fear of the unknown often leads to destructive attitudes and activities. Simply prepared, broccoli can be every bit as tasty as apple pie. Different, but delicious. It may have once been banned from Air Force One, but that doesn't mean that broccoli is not. The word broccoli means little arms in Italian, and it is that characteristic which makes it possible for you and I to separate broccoli from its kin, such as cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, kale, and regular old cabbage, which are so genetically close to broccoli that when botanists try to justify their existence, they...
If this is cabbage and this is cabbage, but this is broccoli, but that means that this is broccoli, so it must be cabbage too.
I think the scientific term is blow a gasket. Now, it is believed that broccoli was developed more than 2,000 years ago, first by Etruscan gardeners and then by Romans who were big broccoli fans. In fact, Drusus, the oldest son of Tiberius, I think it is, ate nothing but broccoli for a month until it literally changed his water green. Broccoli's big break in this country came when a couple of Italian brothers began growing it in California in the early 20th century. Today, roughly 90% of the U.S. Crop comes from the Golden State. Problem is, I can't find any of the crop around here. Where's the broccoli?
Can I help you?
Well, I can't help but notice that you're arranging vegetables.
Vegetables? Ha! Give it some time and all these will explode into beautiful, precious, pretty flowers like these.
Botanically, she's right. Most varieties of broccoli are flowering bodies, although there are some heading varieties which are more closely related to cauliflower.
Oh, I have some lovely cauliflower centerpieces right over here.
Yes, very artistic. And I see that you also have some of broccoli's more crossbred cousins here as well.
I've got some broccoli rabe.
Very bitter, yet strangely delicious. Closely related to turnip, I believe.
And broccolini.
Hybrid cross between broccoli and Chinese kale. And I see you have some of the strange but wonderful broccoli romanesco.
Now, this one can't be a vegetable. Look how pretty it is. All those tiny little cones. Looks like a magic fairy sandcastle.
Yes, doesn't it? Well, if you ask me, no one is going to want to eat that because once it flowers, broccoli is extremely bitter.
Well, I didn't ask you. But if you ask me, you should stop thinking so much. Stop and smell the flowers.
Come here. When shopping for regular broccoli, you want buds that are firmly closed, florets that are tightly grouped, and you want a nice bright green color, no splotches anywhere. Also, check out the base of the stem. It should be moist. If it's white and kind of crusty, that means that some of the sugar in here has converted to lignin, which is a key ingredient in wood, not good eats. This is ideal. Due to its floral nature, broccoli has a tendency to spoil more quickly than other vegetables. But a few days here in the chill chest will do no harm, especially
Don't put your broccoli up here.
It's you.
Follow me to a far, far better place.
Hey!
If you want that broccoli to have a chance at survival, you'll put it in this drawer, which, thanks to higher humidity, keeps veggies crisper, fresher, and firmer.
Well, I don't see a humidifier in here.
Of course you don't, lummox. It uses a gasket to trap the moisture released by the produce itself.
Okay, then what's this little slider for?
It opens and closes the gasket, allowing for more or less airflow. Set it to low, and air will circulate in and out. Best for fruits protected by thick skins. Flip it to high, and your veggies will feel more at home. And, of course, the door configuration helps prevent cold air from escaping every time some idiot like you stands around with the door open.
Well, most lummoxes probably don't stand around talking to yard ornaments in here. Anything else?
Plastic bags are fine, but be sure to punch a few holes in there to let moisture escape. Condensation is the bane of fresh veggies, don't you know? By the way, when's the last time you cleaned up in here? Good scrubbing every other month will keep mold and other nastiness away.
Perhaps you need to spend a little time in the cooler.
How dare you try to silence the doom?
Although I'm sure there's more than one way to trim a broccoli crown, I prefer to do it by flipping it upside down. Just use a paring knife to make quick diagonal cuts, which will give you a nice harvest of the florets. If the stalk seems dry or tough, you can peel it before slicing or quartering, and of course trimming the end if necessary. Now, these are manageable pieces to cook. Unlike cauliflower, which prefers long cooking, broccoli responds best to quick application of high heat. The real challenge stems from the fact that florets cook so much faster than the stalks, which are actually my favorite part. Now, staying the course with American traditions, most home cooks boil broccoli to death, resulting in some unhealthy attitudes.
Please do not ask me to eat that, which I have just said I'm not going to eat, because you are burning up time. Read my lips. No more broccoli.
'Tis a sad, sad scene, repeated in many homes across America. Although we seek to soften the plant fibers in order to make them palatable and to make the numerous nutrients inside available, boiling tends to over-soften the walls of the plant. And once that happens, it's all over. To help explain the dastardly dilemma that is overcooked broccoli, we've broken out the old mystery food science theater.
Inside broccoli, nice bright green chlorophylls are kept separated from acidic elements by cell walls. But if you overcook the broccoli, the cell walls can collapse and the acids can attack, turning our nice bright green chlorophylls into a sad, dingy gray. Kind of like that. To add insult to injury, water-soluble vitamins and phytochemicals rush out into the water, never to be reclaimed.
Thank you. Wonderful show. Even careful blanching tends to do more damage than good. Steaming, on the other hand, gives us more control because although it's technically hotter than boiling water, steam is far less dense and it can't wash nutrients away. But steaming still leaves us in a lurch concerning equal doneness, okay? Now, since most of the nutrients are in the florets, I suggest a hybrid cooking method. Rather than using a steamer basket, we'll use the stalks to create a platform for the florets. Now, I have here a couple of big stalks worth of broccoli, maybe 3 small ones, and I've trimmed them, and I've cut the stalks into 1/8 to 1/4 inch slices. And I'm just going to lay those out in the bottom of the saucepan, or saucier, actually, kind of a little platform. We'll add a pinch of salt and just enough water to almost, but not quite, cover the stalks. Probably take about 1/3 cup. There. Now all you have to do is arrange the florets on top of that. You can try to get the stems down or do what I do. Just dump it in there. Perfect. There. Put that to high heat, covered, and cook for 3 minutes. Then decrease the heat to low and cook for another 3 minutes. And yes, keep a lid on this. It'll help maintain even cooking throughout the plant matter, and that matters. This way, we preserve flavor, enhance texture, and save nutrients. What nutrients? Well, vitamins, for one. Speaking of vitamins, let's bring in today's guest. Straight out of Poland, this biochemist was the first to isolate a water-soluble complex of rice bran micronutrients back in 1912. He later went on to found the Funk Foundation for Medical Research. He digs on Parliament. The girls who wear glasses give a big fat good eats welcome to Casimir Spahn. Well,
hello.
good to meet you, Doctor.
Thanks for having me on Successful American TV Cooking Show.
Of course. So you discovered vitamins.
That's what they say.
Well, for our audience members at home who may not know, what exactly is a vitamin?
Oh, very simple. Vitamins are tiny organic compounds required by all living organisms, eh?
Yeah, we know now that they aid in metabolism, the conversion of fat and carbohydrates to energy, and they also assist in the creation of bone and tissue. So how did you make this astounding discovery?
Oh, I discovered it was thiamine, or vitamin B1 in brown rice that cures terrible disease beriberi. I also postulated the existence of vitamin B2, vitamin C, and vitamin D. Like all vitamins, can be found in food you eat.
We know now that many vitamins are actually created in the human body. So tell me about that name.
Oh, Professor Funk? He's a big...
No, vitamin.
Oh, well, it's short for vital amines. Boo.
Oh, that's
vital
right.
amines.
They used to think that all the vitamins contained the chemical group amine, so they called them vitamins. We know better now, so we just call them vitamins. Now, I know that Dr. Funk, you unfortunately passed away in 1967.
Yes.
But do you have anything going on there in the netherworld?
Oh, yes. I am trying to isolate vitamin F. Funkomine! Oh, yeah!
Casimir's Funk, ladies and
All
gentlemen.
right. Yeah, give it to me. All right.
Thanks for visiting.
Thank you.
Now, the time is up on our broccoli, and you can see it is tender, yet pleasingly firm from the top of the floret out to the bottom of the stalk. Now, there's a little bit of water left in the pot, but we can turn that into a sauce simply by mixing in a couple of tablespoons of unsalted butter at the last moment. Salt and pepper, of course, can be added at your discretion. Now, about all that nutrition, broccoli contains almost as much calcium as milk. It has more vitamin C in it than an orange. Also contains vitamins K and A. It's an excellent source of dietary fiber, folate, riboflavin, iron, potassium, manganese, and phosphorus. It also contains some very special antioxidants that can jumpstart what's called phase 2 detoxification enzymes, which have the power to kind of flush potentially harmful free radicals from your body. And that qualifies broccoli as a bona fide superfood, not to mention good eats. Take a bath, cut your hair, find a job. Okay, America, let's talk about the bitterness. Broccoli and its kin contain compounds which are closely related to those in mustard gas, the original chemical weapon. Now, most of us with an average number of taste buds find this pleasant. However, about 25% of the U.S. population are considered super tasters. That means that instead of the normal complement of taste buds, their tongues house even more per square inch. And they can taste flavors more intensely than the rest of us. That makes them more sensitive to the bitter notes in broccoli. However, there is a way around this. Ow! Hey! Roasting. Dry heat has the ability to trigger chemical changes that intensify the natural sugars in broccoli, which can balance out any possible bitterness. Step 1, hot box to 425. Yes, it's a lot of heat, but it won't be in there for long. Now, I have a pound of broccoli here, which has been trimmed and rinsed. Now, this time, we're going to need bite-sized pieces, so any florets that are more than modest mouthfuls will need to be split down. The stalks should be cut into 8-inch thick slices. Now, we're going to toss this with 2 tablespoons of olive oil, in which I have 2 cloves of minced garlic, 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt, and 1/4 teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper. Now, toss that. And then we're just going to set this aside. Now, changing the texture of a food can change the flavor by altering the way the taste buds perceive the chemicals involved. Adding some Japanese breadcrumbs to the occasion will do just that, and they taste darn good. Now, don't just toss these crumbs with the broccoli. Without a little pre-toasting, they won't brown due to surface moisture. So spread out, I'll say, 1/3 cup of them into a 9x13 metal cake pan and toast in the heating oven for exactly 2 minutes. When the breadcrumbs look nice and toasty, toss them with the rest of the broccoli mixture to coat. Ow, hot. There. Put it back in the pan and roast another 8 to 10 minutes or until the broccoli is just tender. Upon exiting the hot box, I like to transfer the broccoli into another bowl, kind of just to knock down the heat a little bit, and toss in 1/4 cup of sharp cheddar cheese. Now, you could use just about any cheese. You could even use Parmesan here, but I like it sharp and a little on the gooey side. Now, when this cools, you can cover and refrigerate for up to 2 days. It will only get better with age. Me, though, I kind of like it when it's on the hot side. Now, I realize that some folks believe that when it comes to broccoli, at least nutritionally, when it comes to broccoli, that raw is really where it is at. But my problem is that raw broccoli seems to only have one manifestation, and it always seems... What's this? An invitation to my neighbor's party today. That's funny. I never get invited to... Thing. This address is down the street. You know that stealing mail is a federal offense? Well, maybe they'll just let you by with a slap on the wrist. Touchy little guy. Oh well, no reason to let this go to waste. There it is. I knew it. Wherever more than 7 suburbanites are gathered, there's going to be a crudité platter featuring raw broccoli. And, Sure, it's armed with a full complement of vitamins and minerals, but what good is that if you can't choke it down without a tablespoon of high-fat dressing or green stuff? You know, there has to be another way, and I'm gonna find it. If you ask me, the best way to make raw broccoli palatable is to think coleslaw. In other words, we're going to cut this broccoli wafer thin and dress it in a sauce tangy enough to keep the salivary glands engaged throughout the eating experience. So, we will begin with the dressing. Whisk together 1 tablespoon of white wine vinegar with the zest of 1 lemon. There we go. A tablespoon of freshly squeezed lemon juice. 2 teaspoons, or thereabouts, of Dijon mustard. There we go. A teaspoon of kosher salt. Close enough. And a pinch or 2 of freshly ground black pepper. There. Now, as soon as that is uniform, we'll drizzle in 1/4 cup of olive oil. Whatever kind of olive oil you like to use. That's right, this is a standard vinaigrette procedure because it's a standard vinaigrette, just extra tangy. Now, getting this really, really wafer thin is going to require the use of one of these or something like it, mandolin or a V-slicer. But in order to get it really on there, we will cut this down into quarters or thereabouts. We want as much of the stem as possible. Stem first. And of course, as always, we will employ the hand guard. Now, don't worry, this is going to be a little bit messy, but it's going to be worth it. Just go slowly. Since some of the pieces are still kind of on the long side, go ahead and just chop through that 3 or 4 times, a couple times in each direction. And then move that off into your bowl right on top of the dressing. Toss and refrigerate for at least 1 hour before serving. Now that this has marinated, we can add a few final flavor combinations. 6 ounces of either cherry or grape tomatoes sliced, 3 ounces by weight of toasted nuts. You could use pecans. I prefer hazelnuts. And 2 tablespoons of basil chiffonade. That's French for little ribbons, you know.
In they go and toss to combine.
Just as I suspected. Nobody touched it. Now, just let this sit for about 15 minutes before serving, and then just wait for the grateful world. And so, broccoli, vindicated at last, is released from the vegetal hall of horrors. Although we can never erase those lost years of loathing, we can hope for a new day in which children and presidents alike brightly beg for broccoli. Are there still plenty of edible monsters lurking out in the darkness? Indeed there are, but they'll have to wait for their own episodes of Good Eats.